Hello to everyone and welcome on this YouTube channel. So today we are going to continue with our training on database. So this is tutorial number 6 and this is the last one in fact. So this video is concerning computer science students. So we are going to discuss on SQL language. So here in this tutorial, I'm going to be GCE oriented, meaning that all what we are going to look here in this video is exactly the type of question they are asking in database GCE. So just be following any question in the comment part and okay. Now, so here let us read. SQL simply means structured query language. So this is the first thing to know. It's used to manage and manipulate relational database. It allows users to create, insert, update and delete data efficiently. Good. So for those who follow the training since the beginning, just know that with query, in fact, all what we did manually using Microsoft Access, we are going to do the same thing, but this time we are going to use what we call SQL language, meaning that we are going to write something like this, as you can be seeing here. That is going to create table for all. That is going to modify. In fact, there are different block of instruction that we'll be writing together. Good. So the first thing you need to put in mind is that SQL is not code. No, SQL is not code. SQL is not a programming language. Good. So SQL is just like instruction we are giving to the software for him to execute exactly what we are asking. Good. Now the first thing we are going to see here is we are going to, like, in fact, during this training, what we are going to study together is to see how we can make the different operations: create a table, insert data in a table, update data in a table, and delete data. So this is the aim, in fact, of the tutorial, because this is all what you need to know for your exam. Good. Now, so the first thing here, to create a table, how we do it is very easy. So the key word here is create table, as you are seeing here. So I hope it's clear. Create table. After that, the next thing is you give the name of the table. Now you open your bracket. You open the bracket like that. Now inside the bracket, what you are going to give there is the different field of your table, meaning the different column, in simple word. Good. So here I'm having a field called IG. So this IG at this level, the data type of IG is in. You see, now in database, normally when you are creating a table for integer, you are going to choose number as data type. So when you are writing SQL language, you are not going to write number here. No, SQL language, when you are dealing with data type, is looking like programming, but it's not programming. Good. So for integer, so since ID is an integer, I'm going to say in. So this is the keyword here. So very important to know the keyword. After, the next thing, since this field is a primary key, that's why I'm going to add the keyword primary key, as you are seeing here. Now the next column is name. So the name here is what? The name of the field is name. Now the data type is what? Varchar. Good. Normally in database, to indicate a string simply means combination of character, we use short text. You see, the short text, long text in the rest. But when you are working with SQL language, you're going to use varchar, exactly like this, varchar. In bracket, you need to precise the size, in fact, of the string, meaning you need to precise the size of the name. Good. The next thing is age. You give the data type, which is an integer, and please note something. Each time I'm writing a particular field, I need to put a comma. You see, when I move to the next, I put a comma. You can be doing this in one line, but it's better to do it like this so that you can view it very easily. So after age now, comma, department, varchar. Now the last field I'm creating, I'm not going to put a comma. Hope you are getting that. So you put a comma to separate the different field you're trying to create, but the last one, you're not putting any comma. Good. After now, you close your bracket, you put a semicolon. So very important. So we are going to practice this directly in the software. So the first thing, I'm going to move on my desktop. Good. So this Microsoft Access, I'm just going to click. Good. Surely you are familiar with this. So I'm closing here. I click on blank, so to create a new database. Let us call this SQL practice. So I'm just giving a name. So surely at the GCE, they're going to give you the name. So you click. So this is it. Now to start writing query is very easy on SQL query here. Good. So I'm going to close this. Good. Now I'm going to move to create. After create, you move to query design. At the level of query design, you close this window. Now You move at this level of view. Good. You press here, you click here, SQL view. Good. So here you delete this. Yeah, just delete. Now you are going to start. Good. So what did I say? So I'm going to move back at this level. If I don't want to waste time, so I will just copy and paste. Good, because I did that already. So to avoid wasting time. Good. Please, the best way to retain all these things is by practice. So you need to practice a lot, very important. So it's exactly, so create table, I give the name of the table, after I list the different field. Good. So at this level, I'm just going to press here, run. When you click on run, very nice. If you look here, you're going to see that he has created a table. I can click the table here, the table is empty. You can move here at this level, query design, the design view. You click there, design view, this our different field. You see, you remember ID was in, so it's number, name, you see, short text, age, number, and so very nice, everything is good. So I'm going to close. Now majority of the time in the exam, when you be writing a an SQL query like this to create a table, they are going to ask you to copy this on your question sheet. You see, good. So in our own case, I don't really need to use it. So let us move to with the node. Okay. Now the next operation is adding data into a table. So how we're doing that is very easy. The keyword here is insert into. You give the name of the table. In fact, you want to populate with data. Now you open the bracket, you give the different field you are going to populate. So I want to populate IG, name, age, department. After this bracket here, there's no comma at this level, please. There's no comma, no semicolon. You move to the next line. Now you write the keyword values. You open the bracket. Now the values they are giving here is corresponding to the field. So if I'm giving 1 at this level, is corresponding to field. After comma, you give what the next thing, name. I give the name. So this is the name I've chose. Good. After the next is what? Age. I give the age. After the next is what? Department. So very good. So this is exactly what we do. It's very easy. Now let me tell you something. It's also possible to insert data into a table without precising this field. So know that very well. So it simply means what? Let me copy this. Good. So I'm going to delete this and paste this. Good. It simply means what? Here, when you say insert into, you give the name of the table. In bracket here, if I'm precising the different field, it's simply because maybe I want to input the data in this order. This order simply means what? Let us say normally on my table, the first column is ID. Now, if I don't remember very well, let us say I don't remember the order. You see, I don't remember the order. I put something like name, after here, comma, I say IG, comma. How we are seeing that? Good. At this level of values, I'm going to start with the name. After the name is what? IG, which is 1, comma, before doing that. So when you are doing it in this order, it's obligatory to precise this order at this level here, you see, before inserting using values. Good. But now, if I want to enter the data in the same order as the field of my table, in that case, I don't really need to precise this. Hope you are getting that. I don't really need to precise it. I can directly say insert into employees values. I start giving a different value. So that if I'm doing that, I must make sure that at each position of my value is corresponding exactly to the column of my table. You see, if you are not sure of the orders of the column of your table, better come and use this first bracket where you are indicating the field you are going to populate. Hope you are getting that. So I'm just saying that because you can be having a question where the thing is like in this order and you're not understanding. So let me just explain it to avoid any confusion. So I move back to design. You click here on design. Now you click on run. Good. So this is just a message of confirmation. You press on yes. Very nice. Let us click on table. Good. I hope you are seeing that. 1 John Doe. Good. Very nice. Very nice. So I'm going to move back to my query. Good. Remember that you cannot do a query if the table is open. So I'm going to close. Good. At this level now, let us practice what I was saying. Let us say I want to insert the second person. So let me just remove this. Good. You see, at this level, if I want to execute this like that, let me just change this to the second person. So maybe let us say the name of the person is if. Good. Department, let us say is something like that. Good. Now if I run this query, look at what's going to happen. Run. Good, you're having a mistake here. If I hear the confirmation, let me just confirm first. After the confirmation, you see there is a mistake, and this mistake is exactly saying that. Let me just close and explain it. So this mistake is simply saying that here he's not recognizing this order in my field. So if I want to use this order, I need to precise the different field. Now let us say, let me remove this true at this level and move directly at the first position and say true like that. Good. Let us execute this. Click. You see everything is nice, perfect, no mistake. If I click here, the second person. I hope that concept is clear for insert. Nice. Now we move to the next. Okay, we move to number 3. Number 3 is now updating or modifying data in your database. So it's very easy. So to update is very easy. So yeah, the first thing is the keyword update. When you give the keyword update, the next thing is the table where you are trying to make your update. Now you are going to use the keyword set. Very important, so never forget it. We are using set each time I want to modify. Now the question is, what do I want to modify? I want to modify the age, so I'm going to say set age equals to the value you are giving here is your new value. Now the question is, your table are having different records, so you need to precise the record. So here I'm going to say where ID equals to 1. I hope it's clear. Now the question is, why is that we are choosing ID? Because ID is the primary key, and I'm sure that two persons cannot have the same ID. That's why here my condition of the way I'm using by the ID, so that I'm sure 100% that the age I'm going to modify is for ID 1, which is corresponding to one person only. Good. So here, okay, so here we are going to test this one. So I move directly at this level. Good. So I'm going to close this, close. Good. So let me delete this. Good. So if I move back to the table, let us just look very fast. So 1 year is John Doe, so the age was normally 30. Good. So let me close the table first. Okay, so now the new age is supposed to be 31. You move back to design, you click on design, run. Good. Message of to confirm. Nice. If I move back, you see the age is what? 31. As easy as that. So please practice, very important. Now you continue. Now the next operation is to delete a record. Very easy. To delete a record is very easy. So you're going to use the keyword delete. Now just that here, you're going to say delete from, you give the name of the table. After giving the name of the table, you will say where ID equals to. So now you precise the ID, like precising the row that you are trying to delete. So you are going to try this very. So here I close the table as usual. Good. I'm going to delete. Okay, so delete from employee where ID is what? 1. As easy as that. So click back on design, run. So good. Very nice. If you move back to the table, you'll be seeing that 1 is no more existing. So very clear. Good and good. Now we continue. The next thing here is SQL with table relationship. Good. Now if you look what we did up to now, we saw how to create table, insert data into a table, update data into a table, meaning modify data into a table, and delete a table. Then the next thing is, now imagine that you're having maybe 3 tables or 2 tables. Good, that are related using like primary and foreign key. In that case, how are we going to represent that using SQL language? It's exactly what we are going to see here together. Now the first thing is, here you're having a relational database having 2 tables. So here the 2 tables are employee and department table, as you are seeing here at the for the example. So this is the first table here. So they are asking you to create this table. So if you are doing this, it's very easy. So you are going to say create table. After, the next thing is what? You give the name of the table you are going to create. In my case, it's department. You open your bracket. Now you list the different field. So here you are having how many fields? 2 fields, which is what? Department ID and department name. You give the data type. So for ID is what? In. For name is what? Or you're going to say varchar. Good. So the solution is here. If I here do the second table we are going to create. Now, before moving to the solution, if you look this second table, you'll be seeing that this is a table of what? Employees, which is containing employees ID, employees name, age, and what? And department ID. And remember that department ID was primary key in the table of department. It simply means what? That in this table is a foreign key. Now the question is, how are we creating foreign key in SQL? So it's exactly what we are going to see here. So very easy. Now if I move here, look at this code very well. Look at this query very well, because we are calling this SQL query. Good. Query means that you are making a request, in fact, a request, and from the request you are going to have a result. Good. So yeah, for this first part, for the first table, there's no problem. Create table, department, you open department ID, you give the data type in. After seeing it is a primary key, you add the keyword primary key, you put a comma. The next one, department name, varchar, always precise the size. So in my case, I've put 50. If you want to put 25, it depends in fact of the size of the name that you can think. Good. So remember that the last field, you're not putting a comma. After that, I close the bracket, I put semicolon. The syntax is clear. Now, let us look for the second table. Now, for the second table, how are we going to do it? So before that, let me first create this using, let us first create this in Microsoft Access. Good. So to avoid, so I'm going to delete all this first. Close. Let me delete this table. Delete. Yes, I want to delete everything. Good. So we are starting back. So I'm going to paste this code. Good. I'm just going to execute. So I move back to design. Run. Perfect. Department table is there. Good. Now, so let me come back at this level and explain. Now, for the employee table, is very easy. The same thing, create table. You give the name of the table, you open your bracket. So employee ID, data type in, it is the primary key, good, comma. Employee name, varchar. So look at the syntax very well, varchar. And as I'm always repeating, play. If you are not practicing, it's impossible to retain all those things. You need to practice. This is the only solution. Meaning, as you are looking this video, recopy all those code in your book, because this is exactly what you need to know for your exam, nothing else. You recopy in your notebook and you practice using Microsoft Access. It's all. After that, the next thing, we are going to answer past question on that. Good. So after that, age. Good. The next field was department ID, which is an integer, because remember that foreign key must have the same data type as the primary of the primary key. Good. So yeah, primary key was in. That's why here I'm also putting in. Now the next thing is, I cannot end. If I end like this, there's a problem. The problem simply means that I've created two tables, but they are not related together. So how to create that relation? I'm going to add the keyword foreign key. Foreign key, as you are seeing here, very easy. So look it very well and practice. Foreign key. In bracket you are putting what? The foreign key. In my own case, the foreign key you are putting in bracket here is the name that you gave in your table employee. In my table employee, I've called the foreign key dep ID. So I decided to give the same name like what is in the department table. But at this level, for the foreign key, a person can decide to give another name, no problem. Like here, department ID, I can decide to call the department ID with maybe small I and small g. Just make sure that no matter the name you use here, you must indicate it in bracket here. Good. After that, now, when you precise the foreign key, the next keyword is what we call references. This keyword is very important. Look it very well. References. Finishing with ES. Good. So references, what the use of references? References now is used to precise the table where that foreign key is primary. Is all. So references, I'm going to precise the table. The table is what? Department. Now department in bracket, you need now to precise the primary key. So in the table department, the primary key is what? Is dep ID. So I hope you are getting that, and it's very clear like that. Good. So remember that at the level of the foreign key, you can change the name. You can give any other name. So that name you are giving, you precise there in bracket of the foreign key. Good. And you make sure that when you reference, what you are putting in bracket here is the primary key in the table department. In the table department, in my own case, department is what? Dep ID. I hope it's very, very clear. So good. We are going to practice this in Access. So good. This is the query here. Good. So I'm going to move to design. Run. Good. Very clear. So the table has been created. If I click here, the table here. Now to verify if the relationship has been created, is very easy. I'm going to move to database tool. Click on relation. Very nice. Hope you are seeing it. This is it here. Good. The two tables have been created. And if you look at dep ID foreign key, you see it is related to the primary key of department table. Very, very nice. Now the last thing I want us to do is to insert some data in the table. Good. So I've prepared something here. Good. So this what? So to insert is very easy. Insert into department. In bracket, you precise the field. So this is a good way of doing it, in fact. So just precise the different field. After, the next thing is values. You give the value. Now remember that values here is not really nice when you are putting everything on one line. So I prefer that values you move to the next line before putting it. But please note the syntax of insert. There is, after precising the field in bracket, there is no comma or semicolon before values. Nothing, in fact. Good. So this first line is to insert data into department table. The second one is to insert data into employees table. So I'm going to close this relationship. Do you want to save? Just click on yes. Close this also. Good. So here I just press this. I run design, run. Good. So I'm going to insert also in the department, in the employee table. Good. The question that someone can ask is, if I want to insert multiple records, how am I going to do it? It's very easy. Now, Microsoft Access does not really permit us to insert multiple fields directly using one query. You see, good. Not multiple fields, sorry, multiple records. You see, you cannot insert multiple records at the same time using one query. So it's possible in database normally, but using other software, not Microsoft Access. So if you're using Microsoft Access, you must do it one by one. Meaning that, let us say, if I execute this command, good. If I want to insert another data, I must re-execute the command with the new data. Let us say it's now 102 here. Let us say maybe the name here is I don't know, something like Pico. You see, I run, I confirm. Good. So this is exactly like if I move to department table or employee table, I'm having two data. Good. I hope you are seeing that. Now, I want to present again the last thing before we end the video. This type of question you can ask. Wait. If I close here, in fact, this is all what you need to know concerning SQL. Good. But in the GCE, they are going to ask other questions concerning SQL. So here they're asking you to save. So I can save it. So you can give the name. If you press here, they're going to ask for the name. You can call it. In fact, it depends. If the question is asking you to save the query, you must save each time and create new one. Good. At this level, what's happening? So please, any question, ask in the comment section. I'm going to answer. Good. Now I'm going to move to create, design. Good. At this level, you insert, you add, employee, you add, because you have already created relation. Good. Now let us say this: you're having a question that is asking you to give the SQL code that display employee ID, the employee name and his department. Good. So here I'm just going to right click here on employee name. You right click like this. You see, if you don't want to right click, you click, you drag it down here. It's the same thing. Good. For example, department name, I can just click and drag it at this level. Good. So here they're asking on the SQL code that is displaying the employee name and department name. In this case, after doing the next thing is you run. When you run this here, you see displaying what? Employee name and department name. But the question is that they want to see the SQL code of this. So how are you going to obtain that? Very easy. So you move back to design view. At this level of view, you click here. If you click here, you are going to see SQL view. When you click on SQL view, directly you are seeing the code. Hope you are seeing that. So very nice. You just copy this now, you paste on your question paper. Good. That's why I'm saying that concerning SQL, you are not going to learn everything. You just need to learn what is essential for you. What is essential for you is to know how to create table, know how to create table using relationship, mean that foreign key. Remember, foreign key reference, you need to know that, very important. Know how to update data in a table, and know how to, the next thing is to insert data, very important. The last thing also is know how to delete. Is all. The rest of the thing, no need to know it. If the access query that is supposed to display this on the table, do that, do this. In fact, just go and do it the way I've shown you. At the end, you just move to SQL view. You have the code that has been generated automatically for you. You just copy and paste. So you are doing this to save time. So if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to like the video, share to those it can help, and if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So thank you very much. If you have any question, ask in the comment section. Ciao.